back on the range with the Sig Sauer P938. What we're going to do on our steel challenge, same setup as the full-size guns and same distance. We're shooting at 10 yards, but we're going to put one on the torso to the left, hopefully one on each of the zombie heads, and then one more on that torso. That's 7 targets, have 8 rounds in a little carry gun. Let's see how it works. The Sig 938. Good thing I had that extra round.
Alright everyone, it's my turn to shoot the Sig 398 on my specialty course.
Known in non-dyslexic circles as the Sig P938. Yeah, consider the 398. This is why Allie works here, shooting things, and not at the Postal Service where numbers matter.
Oh gosh.
The Sig 938, now do you feel like blasting things?
Yes.
You have 7 rounds. Loaded, not chambered.
Alright. You know, next time we should put numbers on these targets, and I could shoot numbers.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. We can do that.
Not loaded?
Correct. You're good. Nice. Right at the top. I'd shoot the shit.
I think I'm going to take my chances with the shooter.
Just low. Nice.
Alright everyone, we are back from the range with our Sig Sauer P938.
We had fun at the range. It was nice outside, and the gun was nice. I thought it was nice.
That's what I said, you had fun.
Pointing at me. I always have fun when it's time to go play on the range. So we're going to rate the gun on what we thought of it. We have 8 categories we're going to talk about. Rating scale of 1 to 5. The very first category is comfort of grip. As a carry gun, I found it to be above average. There's several that I don't really enjoy shooting because they just don't fit my hands. The Sig 938 with the wood grips, I know you wanted to exchange them for something more fun than just the wood, but those grips actually fill out to fit in my palms a little bit, so I can still shoot it two-handed, and I found it to be above average for a carry gun, so I gave it a 4.
For me, just holding it in the shop was fine. It did feel slightly awkward with the going from wood to whatever, rubber.
Well, it's still wood, it's just textured.
Oh, textured wood. Okay, so from textured to smooth was a little awkward. But then when I fired the gun, it did rub a couple times, you know, and I have small hands, so you'd think it wouldn't, like, move around very much in my hands, but it did a couple times. The more I shot it, the more I kind of got a little rubbing going on. So for that reason, I had to give it a 2 out of 5.
I will talk about the sights on this. This comes standard with Sig lights, which is Sig Sauer's own glow-in-the-dark tritium sights, and I like them. They're really easy to pick up your targets, and it makes it possible to take a small carry gun and still shoot it at 15 yards and shoot steel at 20 and 30 yards. Again, like the sights and the fact that they're standard night sights, which means they glow in the dark when you shut the lights off. So I gave it a 4.
Well, so far I've only got to shoot in the daylight. So night sights, where they're probably impressive at night, I have nothing to compare it to or even to experience-wise show for that. So shooting in the daylight, these sights seemed average to me. They seemed industry standard, so I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Moving on to the trigger, the 938 series, it looks like it has a 1911 trigger. It's not a real 1911 trigger. It's still hinged here, so it still rocks instead of pulls straight back. But because they have an external safety, Sig Sauer was able to make that trigger much more comfortable to shoot. And so you can shoot fast, you can shoot lots of rounds, and it's still a pleasant trigger, much better than other carry guns. So for that reason, I gave it a 4.
For me, the trigger, I mean, whereas it was nice to shoot, it did not exceed my expectations, and it didn't seem below average. It didn't seem hard to shoot. So I gave it a 3.
Well, let's talk about perceived recoil. The 938, for all that it is one of the smallest 9mm on the market, is still very comfortable to shoot repeated rounds where it doesn't fatigue your hands. So I gave it an above average. It's still snappy, and there is at least one handgun on the market similar size that I feel is better. So for that reason, I gave it a 4.
For me, the recoil seemed standard. Like I feel bad. Like he's giving 4s, I'm giving 3s here. But
you don't need to watch the whole thing. Just assume I'm going to give him a 4 and she'll give him a 3. Not true, but it does seem that way today.
It seemed average. It seemed standard, and I wish I could find something else to say about it. But it did not exceed my expectations, nor did it fire and be uncomfortable to shoot either. So 3 out of 5.
We're going to talk about accuracy. And I'm just going to tell you right up front, I gave it a 4. This is a very accurate, small gun. You can shoot it with practice. You can shoot this on a par with more what you would consider a compact, a mid-sized gun. This will hold its own, shooting steel, shooting a little hostage target. It's an accurate gun for a 3-inch barrel.
Accuracy went a little differently for me. It both on the paper and on the on my course, it did not meet my expectations at all. I kept expecting it to hit in one place and it would land in another. Again, part of that could just be me being a new shooter and jerking and maybe not even holding it correctly, but the accuracy fell short of my expectations, so I gave it a 2 out of 5.
Let's talk about ease of reload. It's industry standard on that. It's not fabulous for a reload because it's such a slim profile, but it was clean and it worked fine, so I gave it a 3.
In our videos, sometimes it can seem a little unfair for me to rate the ease of reload where it looks like I'm only doing it once, and it's the only time that I've done it. But one of the things that I try to do before I shoot is to take the gun and practice dropping the magazine and putting it back in a couple times to get a feel for what is average or what it's supposed to feel like, how it feels repeatedly. So I did that with this gun and other guns that we review before I shoot them. So with that in mind, when I was practicing and even on the range, it did seem to stick a little, where it wouldn't always drop clean or it would get stuck and I have to pull it out. So for that reason, I gave it a 2 out of 5.
Let's talk about reliability. Again, not only do we handle the guns and practice some of the basic manual at arms things, I've shot these guns a lot more than what ends up on camera. We do the specific drills one time because we want an honest review instead of, you know, cut, let's do the shoot again until I make all of my shots. We don't want to give you that. But I do shoot the guns a lot more, and this has been a reliable little gun, and so I'm back to giving my 4s out again.
Shooting this gun again for the first time, it did what I expected it to do. Reliability wise, it went boom, and the majority of the time it did go where I wanted it to go. I mean, not always, obviously, but it did seem industry standard to me, so I gave it a 3.
Well, let's talk about ease of maintenance. You saw it did go back together clean, but there were extra steps. It wasn't as easy as some guns. I'm actually giving it a 2.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. Never doing it myself, but watching somebody else do it, it did seem a little like there was extra steps, that it was taking longer, that it wasn't that easy for ease of maintenance and cleaning. So it seemed below standard for me, so 2 out of 5 does seem like an appropriate score.
When you take the 8 categories and put them all together, I gave this gun a 29.
When you add up my score, it actually came out below average at a 20.
This is one of the more expensive carry guns. Manufacturer's suggested retail price on this is $793. So it's a pricey little gun.
Alright, well it looks like that's all the time we have for today. If you liked this video, please point those crosshairs to the like button down below. And maybe in the comments you could suggest other videos or other guns that you would like us to review in the future.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. We want to know what you guys like and what you guys are looking for. So, but we will be doing more reviews, so stay tuned for those because they will be coming out soon. See you then. You like the number 4.
It's my favorite number. You know, in Japanese, 4 translates as death. It does. One of the translations is death, which is very appropriate for a married man with firearms and a wife who likes them.